Yo, how's it going, everybody? It's MacklinGaming, and man, I was gone on a vacation there last week, and what happened to Xbox while I was gone? When you just thought it could not get any worse for Xbox over this current generation and even the last generation with the Xbox One, as far as selling their consoles compared to PlayStation, they're getting outsold like 2 or 3 to 1. I'm not sure if it's even up to like 5 to 1. That would be too much, but like I think they're getting outsold like double, triple amount of PS5s per Xbox Series consoles. Now, I don't even hate Xbox. I love Xbox. I used to have a 360 in college and high school, and it was like the best era of Xbox. I still have my 360, and I'll play it from time to time for that nostalgia kick, you know? But like, I really enjoyed Xbox then, and I still want them to be great because they have great IP, some of my favorites now with the acquisitions of like Bethesda. So I don't want Xbox to fail, and I'm not like laughing at them here. This is just a big deal because of the way that they've gone about these recent job cuts. Yes, Microsoft has just fired 9,000 employees, and that doesn't mean they're all game developers in Xbox, but as a company, you know, they just fired so many people, and a lot of Xbox developers were affected. So we're going to take a look at who was affected, what games from Xbox were canceled. You wouldn't believe some of these, and we'll have to see what do they even have left coming out in the future. So let's just dive right into this mess. All right, let's head over to Jason Schreier's Blue Sky page. Yeah, I know, it's lame, but I don't have Blue Sky, and I am not a huge fan of this guy. I just happened to read this little message. But yeah, like, do I need to say any more about this guy? So anyway, Jason Schreier, he tweets out the Xbox news. So let's just follow along with what he said about covering this Xbox debacle. 4 days ago, breaking, as part of today's cuts, Xbox has canceled the troubled Rare game Everwild. And Rare, man, I used to love Rare. They made, you know, Banjo-Kazooie and 007 GoldenEye. They used to work with Nintendo, and ever since Microsoft bought them, it's been garbage. You know, they made Sea of Thieves. That's great. Like, people love that game, but that's the only thing that I feel like they've done, you know, except for like some Banjo-Tooie or Nuts and Bolts, you know, that's what it was. That wasn't that good. But, you know, Rare just had a game canceled. It's not really their fault. I think a lot of people wanted this game to come out, and, you know, I don't know too much about it, actually. I don't know what it's about, but I'm always rooting for Rare. I want them to make good games. So this is the first, you know, little appetizer of bad news here. But the mass layoffs have started. Candy Crush is laying off 10% of staff. Bethesda's European offices were hit. All right, but it gets worse. The MMORPG project from ZeniMax, the makers of ESO, have canceled a game they've been working on since 2018. A new MMO game they've been working on for 8 years, 7 to 8 years. I mean, it's sad what happens to them. And then, like, there's some little details if you scroll up a little bit, like right here. In March, Phil Spencer was so impressed by the demo of the ZeniMax game that he couldn't stop playing, and Matt Booty had to tell him, like, yo, we gotta continue this meeting, dude. And Phil just wanted to keep playing the game. Like, let's see, is there any other details further into that? Because, like, I want to know what this game was about. I hear it had like mechs, kind of like Titanfall or something. Would have been amazing. I'm just kind of skimming through this. All right, here we go. Blackbird was a third-person online looter shooter, not unlike Destiny, except in third person. I guess you can play Destiny in third person, right? A little bit. Sci-fi noir aesthetic, like Blade Runner. Oh, I just watched that. So good. If you're a cyberpunk fan, watch Blade Runner. It's the best movie ever. I mean, this sounds sick of what the ZeniMax game would have been, you know? And Phil was so psyched about it. And then they cancel it? Like, why? Why? This can't be coming from Phil, right? Who fired these people? It's got to be like Xbox's or Microsoft CEO or something like that. Like, not even Bill Gates, but what's that guy's name? Like Satya Nadella or something? It's got to be him, because I don't know if Phil would have wanted this to happen, but really, you know, ultimately it's going to be on Phil. The responsibility and the blame is going to go on Phil, because he's been in charge this whole time, and he hasn't been like clear with the fans. You know, he's been saying like, oh, these games are great, they're coming out, and then they just get canceled. Like, does he not know? It's the communication over there is severed from like the CEOs down to Phil Spencer and then to the development teams, who like said they didn't even realize that they got fired or that the game got canceled, and they were wondering if they got fired from their job, you know, like these ZeniMax employees. So craziness happening. Here we go. I want to check out this one other article that was linked off of Jason Schreier's page, because there's more. There's one more big game that I haven't talked about that got canceled. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Xbox also canceled the planned reboot of Perfect Dark, and we saw Perfect Dark gameplay last summer in the showcase, and it looked cool. It looked awesome. So people are wondering, like, is Perfect Dark, was that a fake gameplay trailer? Was that fake gameplay last year? Like, and then a developer from the game said, no, it was pretty real. Like he said, that was it. That was legitimately it. And we don't know why we're getting canceled here. This is rough. I mean, they've canceled Perfect Dark. They've canceled ZeniMax's MMO. They also fired Turn 10 Studios, the team who makes Forza Motorsport. So they're going to have to like funnel them into Forza Horizon or something. So what's going on here at Xbox is just brutal. I mean, what can you say really about what's going on over there? I think what happened over COVID, if you want to get down to the bottom of it, I think they just overhired big time, right? And they thought the gaming industry was going to change like forever when COVID happened, and it only really changed for a few years in terms of the numbers and the sales and purchases, right? And then people just started going outside again and getting back to their real lives. And now video games have like come back down a bit. They're still the number one, you know, most net grossing, biggest money making entertainment industry in the world, like bigger than movies and all that stuff. But it came back down from the last 3 to 5 years of COVID. So now Microsoft is like, oh shit, we can't pay all these people, even though they're making so much money. If you really look into Microsoft, they're making like more money than ever. So why are they firing people? You know, it's really probably just the greedy CEOs at the very top. They're making these cuts, and it really is probably just a downsizing because it was like over bloated from hiring during COVID. So I feel bad for all these people who are losing their jobs. And I know some younger people who are like aspiring to be video game developers. And like, I just hope that these young kids still stick around and stick with it. Cause like, who would want to go into this job where you just don't know if you're going to get fired? Your job is not secure in the gaming industry right now. So maybe it's just a crazy pendulum swing of the current times of this decade, and maybe it will swing back and just level out eventually, and the video game industry will figure it out. I like to be optimistic and hope so, but with Xbox right now, they are, you know, a fish out of water, man. They are flopping around on dry land. What will they do next? Please, everyone, pray for them, because we want Xbox to be up there with PlayStation, because it breeds a healthy competition. When you see Xbox failing so badly, now we see Sony putting no games out, and like they're getting complacent, and they're not really doing much either right now. So we want a healthy rivalry here, and we want that healthy competition going forward, which will make better games and better consoles. What do you think about Xbox right now? Are they screwed? Do you think they're gonna no longer be a console maker? Or do you think they still have a future in the video game industry as one of the big three? Let me know in the comments. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.